IMO, which stands for Indigenous Microorganisms. Their way of doing it is by having some slightly cooked rice in a box, and then you go out to the forest, and then you dig till you find that area where you see a lot of mycelium, the leaf mold. You hardly recognize the material that's in there anymore, but you can tell that there is a lot of great fungal life down there. You put your collection box on top of that, and then you kind of not bury it, but cover it up so it's safe from like bugs and critters, or maybe other people walking by wondering what a box is doing there. Leave that for a few days, and that also depends on the temperature. You're supposed to be able to take collections any time of year, including the winter time. But me personally, I'm having a really hard time doing a winter collection right now because all the places I have tried haven't turned out to be so successful. But you can't give up just because it doesn't work out the first time. You got to keep trying. But when you have a good, successful collection, a lot of fungi is growing on top of your rice, like a nice white puffy cloud. Some colors are okay, a little bit of mix is okay. Too much of any one color is not okay. Then you take that collection, you bring it back home with your moldy rice, and you mix it equal weights with brown sugar, raw brown sugar. And you let that sit in a jar to ferment. That becomes shelf stable. So if you wanted to do several collections, you have all your little jars, your shelf stable jars, once they've been mixed with the brown sugar. Then there's several processes like IMO 1 and IMO 2 and IMO 3. So these are all the different steps. The next step when you have your collection is to mix it in water with some other things. I haven't gotten this far yet. You mix it in water with some other stuff like a little bit of labs and I believe a little bit of the OHN. And I think sugar. I'm not sure if you're adding more sugar to that concoction or not. You're brewing it around kind of like a tea, and then you're using it to water like malted barley and wood chips and stuff like that. Then that creates like this pile that could get really hot. So you got to keep turning it every once in a while to make sure it doesn't get too hot. You want it to increase its temperature, but not get above a certain temperature. And eventually what happens after, you've turned it enough times and it cooked and it's cooling down and now it's completely finished, you could use that finished product to sprinkle around your garden. Or you could use it as a tea and it's a liquid IMO. But that is a really amazing way to introduce microorganisms into your soil. And you've got to let your microorganisms do all the work for you. You don't have to continuously add all these ingredients when your soil's hooked up and it's got plenty of microorganisms, fungi, bacteria, nematodes, worms, arthropods, microarthropods, protozoa, all sorts of cool stuff. Soil is filled with life. And as a regenerative farmer, all you're doing is maintaining that life.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow at 15 to save on any of their products.